Welcome back to Journey of Faith. Today, I have a truly special story for you, one that'll remind you that God sends help when you least expect it, sometimes through people you've never met and may never see again. It's a story about a moment of desperation, an unexpected encounter, and a mystery that can only be explained by faith. It shows us that even in our darkest, most isolated moments, we are never truly alone. Imagine this. Sarah was driving home late after a long, exhausting day at work. The kind of day where all you want is the comfort of your own bed. She was on a quiet, rural road, the sun painting the sky with shades of orange and purple as it began to set. The scenery was beautiful, but the road was deserted. And that's when it happened. Her car suddenly sputtered, coughed, and then silence. Smoke began to curl up from under the hood. The engine was dead. Sarah stepped out of the car, her heart sinking as she looked around. There was nothing, just an empty road stretching into the twilight, with no houses, no lights, and no other cars in sight. The peaceful sunset now felt ominous, and the silence was deafening. Her first instinct was to grab her phone, but as she looked at the screen, her stomach dropped. No signal. The one lifeline she thought she had was gone. Panic started to set in. She got back in the car, clutching the steering wheel, her knuckles white. The darkness was closing in, and a wave of anxiety washed over her. Tears welled up in her eyes as she felt completely and utterly alone. In that moment of sheer helplessness, she bowed her head and whispered a simple, desperate prayer. God, please don't leave me out here. I'm scared. I need help. She sat there for what felt like an eternity, the quiet hum of the crickets being the only sound. Then, through the darkness, she saw it. A pair of headlights slowly approaching in the distance, a glimmer of hope. The vehicle, an old pickup truck, pulled up alongside her car and stopped. An older man with kind, gentle eyes and a calm presence stepped out. "Eada," warm, peaceful voice that immediately put her at ease. "You look like you could use some help," he said with a soft smile. Sarah, flooded with relief, could barely speak. She explained what happened, and the man simply nodded, as if he already knew. He walked over to her car, opened the hood, and began to work on the engine with a quiet confidence. He had exactly the right tools, and he moved with a purpose that was both skillful and reassuring. He didn't say much, but he explained what he was doing in simple terms. It was almost as if he had been sent specifically for this problem at this exact time. After just a few minutes of tinkering, he stepped back and said, "All right, try it now." Sarah turned the key, and to her amazement, her engine roared back to life, running as smoothly as ever. Overjoyed and deeply grateful, she got out of her car to thank him. Before she could offer him money or ask for his name, he just smiled warmly, wiping his hands on a cloth. He looked at her with an incredible sense of peace and said something she would never forget. "God hears you. You're never alone. Help always comes you. Just have to trust him." His words went straight to her heart. Tears filled her eyes, but this time they were tears of gratitude and awe. With a final kind nod, he walked back to his truck, got in, and drove away into the night, disappearing as quickly as he had appeared. Still shaken but with a renewed sense of peace, Sarah drove to the nearest town. She pulled into a small, brightly lit gas station, her mind still reeling from the encounter. She needed to tell someone, to process what had just happened. She went inside and described the incident to the attendant, telling him about the kind old man in the pickup truck who had miraculously fixed her car. The attendant listened patiently, but as she described the man in his truck, a strange look came over his face. He slowly shook his head. "Ma'am," he said, "there's no man like that who lives around here. I know just about everyone in these parts." He paused, then added, "And that old road you were on? Nobody drives down that road for hours, especially not at night. People tend to avoid that area after dark." Sarah stood frozen, the attendant's words echoing in her ears. A chill ran down her spine. If no one drove down that road, who was he? In that moment, everything clicked into place. Flashes of the encounter replayed in her mind. The man's peaceful presence, the way he appeared at her moment of deepest despair, how he knew exactly what to do, the profound words he spoke, the soft light that seemed to surround him. It wasn't just a coincidence. She realized the truth. God had sent someone who showed up at the perfect moment, delivered the help and the message she needed to hear, and then vanished just as mysteriously. In her heart, she knew with absolute certainty God had never abandoned her. He was watching over her the whole time. This incredible story reminds us that sometimes God sends help in ways we can possibly predict or understand. Help might come through the kindness of a stranger, through a series of events that seem like perfect timing, or through a feeling of protection that we can never fully explain. The lesson is that God never leaves his children to face their trials alone. He is always there, working in ways seen and unseen. There's a beautiful verse in the Bible, Hebrews 13:2, that says something very similar. It reminds us, do not forget to show kindness to strangers, for by doing so some people have shown kindness to angels without knowing it. Sarah's story brings this verse to life. Was the man an angel? We may never know for sure, but we know he was a messenger of God's love and care. So if you've ever felt alone, lost, or forgotten, remember Sarah's story. Remember that even when the road is dark and you have no signal, you are not disconnected from God. He can send help at any moment, in any form. You are seen, you are heard, and you are never, ever forgotten. Thank you for joining us on Journey of Faith. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe for more inspirational messages of hope and faith.